So my biggest piece that I do each day is I dress for my job as if I was going to work. So I get up, I start my day, I shower, I get ready, I get dressed, I do my hair, honestly, like as if I was going in. I think it can be really tempting to stay in sweats all day, especially if you won't be on video that day. But the couple times that I gave into that temptation in the spring, I learned quickly that that did not work for me. And I know it can work for some for sure, but for me, I was far less productive. I wasn't as motivated. So like physically getting myself ready to be present for the job makes such a big difference for me mentally. A lot of times when people work from home, they get rid of their commute, but my commute actually doubled because I drive my son to daycare that was very close to work. So I'm now spending like an hour in the car in the morning and then an hour in the afternoon. So at first that was kind of hard for me, like, oh, I'm wasting so much time, but I really just had to switch my mentality, and that I've actually used to maintain my wellness. I've been focusing a ton lately on really like managing my energy rather than managing my time. And I know that's kind of like being talked about a lot, but for me, like I'm someone who I love my to-do list, I love my schedules. But if I set aside like 2 hours to complete this task, like if I'm depleted or I'm not in the right headspace or I haven't slept well, I haven't given myself good food, that 2 hours is going to be not very efficient. So I've learned that I really need to check in with myself to see if like, am I fueling myself? Am I able to bring my best self to all these different things that I've scheduled out throughout my day? So creating breaks to check in and re-energize is so important to me right now. I kind of naturally do it. I do it right before I get started with my morning. I check in, I see how I'm feeling, see what I need. I do it typically like mid-morning. I mean, I think naturally I've gotten into the flow. So it's like around 10 o'clock I do it. I do it at lunchtime. I do it around 2 o'clock. And then I end my day with it too. For me, I need a visual. So I actually have this little like, how are you feeling?
Oh, yes. That's great. That's amazing.
That's literally sticking to my screen because it reminds me to pause and check in and really ask myself, like, how am I doing right now? What do I need? They work the same way as they did on campus. So I guess with a bit more reliance on good Wi-Fi and, maybe some Zoom interrupting now and then, but I really try hard to create that same environment I would if someone was sitting in my office, like face to face with me. We're still two people in this journey working toward their health and wellness goals. And that's really, really what I've tried to focus on replicating. So it works the same way. We still book the same amount of time. There's still like initial appointments, follow-up appointments. Like we've tried to do everything that we could do in person. We're just doing it in a different environment. So most people are going online, and you can find it super easy, unh.edu/health, and schedule their appointment there.
Okay, perfect. And then just as a follow-up, so students can schedule those appointments through the normal scheduling portal if they do it online, or call the health and wellness line.
Yep, you can call. You can book through there. You can book it online. I always just say people, I think it's easier right now to book online because you have to open into that portal anyways, because that's where you're going to go back to the portal to log in for our Zoom session. So I like that people get a feel for the online format because that's where you're going to have to go anyways. So yeah, it logs you in. Like once you log in, it shows up there as your appointment. You get to check in. Answer any questions that might prompt up depending on what kind of appointment you're signed up for. And then we just start the Zoom. So for me, I am very, very fortunate, and I'm very well aware that this is not the case for everyone, but for me personally, I'm very fortunate that I was able to designate a work area in my home. So I found one space that I kind of took over and I made it my office, because for me, like, environmental wellness is so connected to my productivity and my ability to focus. Like, if I'm working somewhere that's really cluttered, I feel really cluttered. So truly, like, I made this place and this is quote unquote my office. So when I walk out of this office, it's my way of kind of disconnecting. And I think that's really important. So even if, and this is something I would throw out to people, even if you can't have a full space, each day set up your space so that it is your space for the day, you know, like have that area, because it's so important to just feel like you have the things you need and feel, yeah, like you can show up. Environmental wellness is one that's huge for me. I think another way that I separate like the working and home, again, I'm fortunate in my commute because literally driving is my way of like, I'm showing up and I'm arriving home, right? So it's like a natural start and a natural end. I would say lunch and breaks are harder, much harder. That's definitely a work in progress for me. It's something that I'm trying to work on. You know, I try to get outside, body movement, like do all these different things during breaks, but yeah, it's hard. I can easily get swept up in checking my email during lunch or swiping through Instagram during lunch when really it's like, no, disconnect. So something I implemented this week is I leave my phone in my office when I leave for lunch. So just trying to really give myself separation. But yeah, that one's hard. It's definitely something I'm working on. This one, it's hard. It definitely is. I think this has been the most challenging. Of course, we still have meetings, but we miss like the hallway talks where we catch up on how the weekend was, right? Or like, you know, when you show up to a meeting and before it starts, you're all sitting around a room and it's like that chatter. Miss that. So this is also something like these questions are so timely because I feel like these are all things that I've been thinking about. So something I've been working on is when like a thought pops into my head that typically I'd like walk down to someone's office or pop in, I'm trying to like make myself like still send that, like send it in a chat, like use Teams, like send the thought because I don't want to just let it go. So yesterday, actually, I emailed a colleague and I just wrote, this is typically a morning I'd come walk down and like say hi and see how you're doing. So hi. And then we ended up going back and forth a couple times. Like, yeah, it was just email, but it's just nice to catch up on something that's not part of our meeting. And I would say like our team actually does a really good job at creating space for connecting on a personal level, but it's still hard. It's still something you have to really try at, I think.
Right. Yeah. I think, you know, over the past 6 months with people starting to work a lot more from home or, you know, starting to realize that how much the people you work with really become your very best friends and almost like a family. And
absolutely. They're part of your support network.
exactly. So yeah,
I know.
that's awesome.
I know.
Yeah, I think that's definitely something that should be more normalized, you know, those that just, hey, how are you? Like, how is the family? How was your weekend? You know,
Yes.
just stuff like that, especially now that a lot of people are working from home.
So my number one way that I would recommend is the mood meter.
Yeah.
I know it, but I love it. And I use it myself and it's so impactful. So, you know, if you want it to go with the article or something, I can send you a copy, but
Yeah.
I think it's such a great tool. You literally, it doesn't take, you're not adding to your time. Like it's quick, it's brief, but you really get to take a quick look at your energy level, how pleasant you're feeling, unpleasant you're feeling. And it just gives you this like quick snapshot. It's data that you're given immediately about how you are right now. And if you want to adjust it, that's great. Then you get to decide what to do. But until you kind of like take that data in, yeah, you're kind of left feeling a little unsettled. So I love the mood meter. I want everyone to use it. I don't think it has any sort of age specific. I think anyone could use it at any stage of their life that they're in. So yeah, that would be my,
Yeah. So
invite everyone to use
so
it.
it sounds like definitely checking in the mood meter and then maybe even taking that further. Why am I feeling this way? And what can I do about it? Is there
Yes.
anything that's in my control that I can do something to change this?
Exactly. If I'm feeling really depleted, what behaviors have I been engaging in that are depleting me right now, right? Are there behaviors that I can engage in right now that will replenish me? If I'm feeling really low energy, like what do I need to get that energy up? Or if I'm feeling too high of energy, what do I need to do right now that might calm me down? Is there anything I want to do? You know, what is it that's got me so activated? Yeah, there's so many, I love that you said that. Yeah, there's so many different steps that we can keep going with it. Yeah, I love it. Definitely. I'm definitely someone that thrives on like routines and consistency. This is actually an area that I found I need to practice more flexibility in. So right now, like once or twice a week, I get up extra early. So I get up at like 5 a.m. And I go for a 30-minute run because typically I have to start getting ready at 5:30 is when I typically would wake up. I love the days that I'm able to motivate myself to do this, but I know that I'm not someone who's going to get up every single day for that. Like I'm just well aware of it. So I don't set myself up for that. I just know that a couple times a week, I love when I can fit that in. Another couple times a week, what I try to do is I take half my lunch and I actually have like a stationary bike downstairs. And I jump on that. It's already in my home, so it's quick. It doesn't take up a lot of time. And I can do like a 15 or 20-minute class that is a wicked good workout. My heart rate pumping. So I love days that I can fit that into. And aside from that, I just try to incorporate body movement into my breaks. Body movement for me is something that gives me energy when I need it. So I take, a 10-minute break in the morning. Typically I grab my dog. We do a quick walk down the road. I honestly usually do that again at the end of my workday before I pick up my kiddo. And then honestly, oftentimes, especially like today when it's so nice out, after dinner, we typically go for a walk like as a family through the neighborhood. So it's just a lot of small incremented things throughout the day that I build in the body movement. And I want to say, like, as I'm talking this through and like talking this out, it kind of sounds like I have it all together, but I am human. That I do a terrible job at disconnecting to go work out. And honestly, like I feel it. Those are the weeks that feel really long to me. Those are the weeks that I'm exhausted at the end of the day mentally. So once I get back on track and when I'm like really feeling my best, I can feel that too. I know like I just went for a walk during my lunch and I feel great right now. I feel energized, but I'm definitely kind to myself and I acknowledge that I'm a work in progress and some weeks are easy to motivate myself and some aren't.
Yeah, of course, definitely. I've noticed, even as a student, especially last semester, how much I miss walking to class. Just that 5 to 10 minutes of fresh air in
Absolutely.
between classes. I guess I took it for granted. I didn't realize how much of an impact it had on me
Huge,
until
right?
the days that I would be sitting at my computer 8, 9, 10 hours straight. And, I even decided, okay, I need to go just, even if I walk to the end of the driveway and back, just
Yes.
before this next class starts. And
Yep.
I think that's the best way to start. I feel like there's also this big push that, oh, well, I'm not going to exercise unless I can go run for 45 minutes or do an online kickboxing class or something like that. But
Yep.
even if you can just literally go get the mail, like that is some movement right there. And just that 30 seconds of fresh air and sunlight can completely
Exactly. That's exactly. It's movement, it's outdoors, it's nature, it's quiet often. Like it's different setting. I mean, there's so much. 5 minutes. That's, there's so much to it. I think maintaining the boundaries that I set. So I think that at times it's almost too easy to walk back to my laptop and, just send a quick email at night or check if I got any emails over lunch, like we were talking about, right? It's harder to actually break. So that's one thing. But I think how I combat that is I just have to remind myself, like the same way that I try really hard to be present at work, I need to be present in my other roles too, right? Like I need to be present as a parent, as a partner, as a friend, like as a daughter, whatever role I'm like being part of outside of work, that really deserves my full attention too. So it takes a lot of like mental reminders for me. So that's one thing that's been hard is just like maintaining those boundaries.
Yeah.
I think another thing, I miss the human interaction. I thrive on social connections. So the days that I don't have much of it, That can definitely be challenging for sure. And then this is a funny one, and I don't know if it's a challenge or something that I've found difficult, but it's just something I've been noticing lately. I find that, you know how when you're doing so many Zooms, not always just looking at that person, but like you're seeing yourself a lot.
Yeah.
Weird. Like
I
that's
know.
like,
I know, yeah.
like right now what I've done is I have you over here and I've put my word over me just so I'm not like looking at me, because it's
Right.
like it's just not natural. Like so often when you're having a conversation with someone, you never look at yourself like in the mirror. So it's just a weird oddity that I'm trying to like, I don't think it's had much of an impact yet, but it's just something I'm noticing. And I just find it really odd how often you're seeing yourself in a screen too.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I've noticed that especially in how reactive I am to things, just with anything. And
Yeah.
something that I know that I should probably work on, you know, whether it be a good thing or a bad thing that I
Right.
perceive that I'm reacting to, you never know the impact of what that could be for someone, you know?
Wow.
So yeah, definitely
Yeah, so it's interesting. It's just something I've been kind of like thinking about lately. Like I don't know if it would really fall into this category of a difficulty, but it's weird and it's
yeah.
different.
Right. It's something new to deal with.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But I'll say too, like it's not all bad. Like
Right.
I've never eaten better. My lunches have been amazing. You
Yeah.
know, there's something great about having my kitchen so close. And like if I want to make a wonderful salad, I'm chopping and adding in at the same time. Like there's also a lot of good that's come from it too. So taking the time that, you know, I have to kind of focus on like, wow, I wouldn't have made the salad for myself if I had done it last night and it's really good and I'm going to enjoy it. That's been a plus.
Yes. Yes. There's definitely a lot of really great things that have come from this. I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like people have a lot more time to even connect with those that they're living with now, especially,
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
just stuff like that, which is really great. Something we should all acknowledge more.
Yeah.
Some of the positives that have come out of
Yeah.
working from home.
Yeah. I think main piece of advice would be to just take moments throughout your day, wherever you are, to just pause, connect with the present moment, take a deep breath, slow everything down, ask yourself what you need, and connect with how you're feeling in that moment, connect with how your body's feeling, connect with everything, and just be in that moment, even if it's brief, before you move forward. Like really check in with yourself before you keep going. I know we can get so swept up in our worries and our work and adding this and this and this and always being connected and feeling we have to respond right away, but taking some time to just slow down, take a few deep breaths, really slow everything down is huge. And I would definitely recommend that to everyone. I think connected with that, my advice also is to be kind to yourself. This is not normal. You have a lot on your plate. You have a lot on your mind. Acknowledge that. Be with that. This is the time to practice self-compassion. You know, focus on what you're doing well. Focus on the strengths that you are utilizing each and every day because you're doing something brand new and it does take a lot of strength. So focusing on those, acknowledging those is so huge and really can help us maintain our well-being while we're doing this work. And then finally, I have one more too. Finally, reach out. Like, don't do this on your own. Connect with others. Talk about how you're feeling. Schedule a wellness coaching appointment. Come talk to me. Come talk to my colleagues. You know, attend our workshops. We just updated our events page. We have so many offerings coming your way this semester. Like, use this time to nurture your wellness and don't do it alone. Know that we're all there for you. And there's so many resources. It's just making that step to make the connection.